Hello and welcome back to the basics of computer science and information systems. In the last video we started talking about system development, where we talked about the phases, the 5 phases of system development. So where a company wants to put in place a system to help it run its operation and other things that helps it achieve a certain number of goals. So to start looking at each of those phases, the first one is the system investigation. So this involves a business organization, whether existing or new, to try to identify what are the goals or problems that system will solve, and also what are the opportunities, what do we get out of it, what other things does it provide for us, and in order to solve this problem or achieve the goal, or be able to get these opportunities, what are the things that we need to start putting in place, which are the requirements, and also what kind of materials and methods in terms of hardware, procedures, software that we need to start putting in place. So this is all like identification phase, doing some early investigation, and how much do we think this can cost. This is a really rough estimate, and then what are the risks involved in putting this in place, or if we need to go through this. Now, being able to identify all this helps you with the early part of developing a business system that works, that can use information in a nice way for the operation of the company. And just by doing that, you need to also do the next phase, which is analyzing the system. So if you've identified the problem, the risks, the cost, and everything, you also need to follow a kind of problem-solving techniques to collect and interpret, actual facts, and those data which you've collected during your investigation. You need to interpret them and start really mapping them to the problems you've identified and see whether these are in line with what you expect. And based on that, you can start looking at, how do I split the system I want to build into several components? And by doing that, you can show that you can improve efficiency or achieve the goal or purpose. An example is a payroll system that you see here, where you see the different components like calculate pay, print pay slips, and produce a salary report as output. And these are ways to consider the components, and analyze your system in a way to see how to proceed further. Now, when you're able to do that, you can start looking at the design and plan how exactly should the system work, given all the defined components and things we want to put in place. So this means you have to also define how the components are interconnected or interact with each other, and also how the feedback will be made in such a way that you can get an idea if your system, when it eventually is built, can report the right thing and also report improvements that can be put in place. And once this is done, then we will go to the next phase, which is implementation in itself. But that is something we will start looking at from the next video. Thank you very much.